array. And what is array? Array is a like box of number, and a special array, like what, creates an array filled with zeros. So numpy dot like np dot zeros to 3, we want 2 rows and 3 columns of, and that matrix is going to be filled with zero only. And create ones means what, create an array filled with ones. Create an array filled with ones. What does it mean, creates an array filled with ones? Like 3 rows and 2 columns, 3 rows and 2 columns, I have seen that. Creates like create an array filled with ones means 3 rows and 2 columns is going to be created. Identity matrix is like creates a square table with ones on the middle. Identity matrix, as we have already studied in like in our classes, arrange in start, stop, step. Creates number in a range with a step. Creates number in a range with a step. Number dot arrange 0 to 2, 0 to 2. Jump by 2. Link space means creating num between two values with equal gaps. Arrange with start, stop, steps. These are the three things that are available in an arrange, like start, stop, steps. Create numbers in a range with the steps. Then we have a then we have a link space. So any space like means creating a number between the values. Like it means creating a number between the values, and with equal gaps, we can see with equal gaps. Yeah, with equal gaps. Arrays, array property, like array properties info. So array numpy dot array, it's an array, and if you want like the shape of the array, so we can easily find it. So we have about three 2 rows we have, and we have a column, about 3 columns and 2 rows. So yeah, so with the help of a save function we can easily understand. Then we have a array dot size, total number 6. Now array number of dimension 2. Array data type int. Then we have indexing slicing row 0 and 1. Indexing slicing row 0 and 1. Indexing slicing means array, and then we are getting a 0 rows on column 1. Slicing means first 2 rows, and then we have a all rows and column 1. We want only all rows and column 1. Then arrays operations we have a, okay, like you can add and multiply by a specific number. You can just add like 2 in the list, not in the list, in the array, and you can multiply with the specific number in the array. Then you can see this is our arrays, and here we are just adding two arrays, then comparing, then getting some meaning from that. Then we are just reshaping the matrix, change the shape of the array. Like it is, we are like changing the shape of the array. So array dot reshape, then we want to reshape is like that, 3 rows and 2 columns. So transpose means we are just converting rows into columns. Okay, when we use the transpose method, then we are going to see that rows is now becoming the columns, and columns is now became the rows. So this is how actually transpose function works. So flatten means we are converting the you know uh, turns the array into a 1D, or we can say in one line. Okay, in a 1D, or in one long line. Okay, so we are just flatten. It is used to makes your array into one long line or 1D array. Combine array, we can combine the array using concat, okay, using concatenate function. With the help of concatenate function, we can basically join the array together, we can combine it. If you want something like, uh, vertically, you want to assign, you want to see your, you want to show your arrays vertically, okay, so you can use vertical stack. Here you can see, here we have vertical stack, then you can also go with vertical stack. You are just trying to join array, okay, a giant array, like vertically stack arrays vertically, one below another, something like that, okay. So horizontally stack, you are just stacking the arrays horizontally, okay. Horizontally means what? Horizontally means side by side, like this like this, okay. You are just trying to add the arrays, and vertically means straight line, okay, like one below another, okay. So then you can also perform some mathematics things with this, like adding the specific number to the to the array. If you are using array, then it's very fast, but if you are going to use like Python code, like you are just creating a loop for I in this array and adding 10, you are going to write this code. So this code is going to be boring, and it is taking your time. So we have to use the array, which is a fast. We have to only add the 10 in the array, then that specific number is going to be added in every element of the list. So nums and 10 to every value, then we can find the square, sign, x, and then some mean, step deviation, mean, max, and some array, column, sum. So yeah, these are the things that can we use. And then we have a product. We can also find the dot products of a and b, then matrix inverse. Then we have a find a, if you want to like find a reverse of matrix, then you can use this function. And if you want to create a random numbers or random floats, then you can use random dot rand integer, okay. So you can use this. And random number, if you want to create, then you can use this random integer, this. If you are going to use this function, it means you are going to create. भाई एक दिन बाद मम्मी पापा अनसर गए थे मंदिर आके रे तर रात को 2 बजे पीछे से आवाज आ रहा है और भाई प्लीज हिंदी में बोलो सैंडी के साथ। हेलो भाई सैंडी, क्या हाल है? कहाँ से हो आप लोग भाई? निशान भाई, सैंडी भाई, आप लोग कौन से क्लास में हो? आर यू गाइस हेयर? भाई मैं रिवीजन कर रहा हूँ नमपाई। हेलो भाई, आप लोग कमेंट करो। तो हम यहाँ पर रैंडम नंबर जनरेट कर सकते हैं इस फंक्शन का यूज़ करके, और रैंडम फ्लोट भी जनरेट कर सकते हैं, लाइक 3 by 3 मैट्रिक्स। और ये डिपेंड करता है कि आपको कितनी वैल्यूज चाहिए। Like you can define the rows and column. You can define the rows and column, each value is random. uh, Between 0 and 1 is going to be create all the values which come between the 0 and 1. And you can define the rows and column. हेलो भाई लोग, कहाँ गए तुम लोग? Vectorization, what does this mean? Vectorization is like you can perform the one specific task, like you can say doing the mathematics thing in an array instead of using loop, doing math on all values at once instead of using loops. So hello guys, where are you from? Where you guys gone? भाई एक दिन के बाद मम्मी पापा भुवनेश्वर गए थे मंदिर अकेले अकेले। हेलो गाइस। Okay, so okay, now we have revised our famous libraries, like you know, which libraries? Pandas and NumPy we have just revised, which is a Python libraries. Pandas is for reading your files and like renaming or for manipulating. Okay, this is the work of Pandas, reading your file and creating some meaning from the data, like remove the things which is not suitable for the data. So this is all about the pandas, like uh, uh, creating your table in such a way that you can use that table like for the future. Okay, this is actually we do with the pandas. We use some of the function of the panda which makes your data clean and readable. So this is like the pandas does. And talking about the numpy, uh, numpy is a kind of a generator. It's a generator of the mathematics. Okay, so it's a library for numbers. It basically applies some mathematics things in your data. Okay, you can use some function. Okay, so these are the things that we do with the numpy. So numpy is used for numbers, and it is also a python library. So now we are going to revise the another libraries of python, which is matplotlib and seaborn. So let's see. So we are going like what is a plot. So we have already discussed, like we have already studied this, we are just trying to revise it. So what is hist, kd, scatter, join, pair, lm plot, count plot, bar plot, back plot, variant plot, sum plot. So these are the plots that we have discussed in the seaboard. And like where you are going to use these plots. So if you have a numerical data, then you can go with the hist plot. And if you have a numerical data, you can go with kd plot. But what is the like difference between them when you are going to use the hist and kd plot? So if you want to see the distribution of the data, then you can see the hist plot. And if you want to see the smooth distribution, you can go with the kda. And marks of the student, you can go with hist plot. And salary curve, if you want to see, then you can go with kd. Scatter plot is formed with the dots. Okay, when you are creating a scatter plot in seaborn, then you will able to see that you have a scatter which is formed using the dots. Okay, using the dots. So scatter plot, this is how actually forms. And we use scatter plots to see the relationship between the two numerical columns. So then we use scatter plot. And like we have a height and weight. So these are the two numerical columns. So we use we use scatter plot for this. Giant plot is also used for if you have if you have a data and you have a columns, two numerical columns if present, then you can go with the giant plot. So relationship, uh, height and weight together. Okay, so pair plot, like if you have lots of numbers column, or we can say quantitative columns if you have, then you can use the what you can use a pair plot or relations, like age, salary, expenses. Then count plot is like uh, counting the category. Okay, it is used for categorical data, like counting the category, like how many males, how many females. Okay, frequency, basically it is all about frequency. And male versus female. Bar plot is like for comparing. Bar plot or box plot? No, it's, yeah, of course. Bar plot is for what? Bar plot is for categorical versus numerical. If you want to compare something, then you can go with the bar plot, like what? Average salary per What does it written here? Average salary per. Okay, we will discuss it later. So box plot, as we know that it is used for outlier. If you want to see outlier in the data, then you go with, you can go with the box plot, which is a very famous plot. And of course, you can see in cat versus in num. So for comparison, cat versus num outliers, wherein plot cat versus num means categorical and num, and distribution marks spread from plot. Like these are the plot like valin and swarm is not very least use plot. So histogram shows the how many numerical data is distributed, like how values fall in each range. KD plot, giant plot is like x. Okay, so let's discuss what is a giant plot. Is a giant plot is a uh, so the relationship between two numerical variables along with their distribution can find anything. By default, we have a scatter, and we can also use like hist, kd, reg, hex. So yeah, these are the things that we can go with. And then we have a pair plot. A pair plot shows the relationship between all the numerical columns in the dataset. SNS dot pair plot, it's our syntax of the what pair plot. Then we can go with the pair plot, so the relationship between all the numerical columns in the dataset. Then we can use sex, smoke, day. These are the categorical data in the hue we put, and then we can choose the color, which is rainbow. No, this is not mathematics. This is a Seaborn library, which is like yeah, this is a Seaborn for for visualization, to make beautiful graphs, so you can understand your data in a proficient way, in a better way. Yeah, it's a coding, and these are the like concept, basic concept that we have to know for analyzing and creating some meaning from the data, summarizing the data, describing the data, analyzing, summarizing. Okay, so these are the things that present in the data set. In the libraries, we use libraries for creating beautiful graphs. So yeah, that's yeah, data analytics you can say. But I'm in the field of like ML, machine learning. So yeah, I create models like before I do the EDA. Okay, like removing the things, like cleaning the data set. Then I use a model, ML models. Okay, then I train my model on that specific data, then I predict something. So yeah, this is everything about my field. And I have learned everything about machine learning. I'm just revising uh, little every day. And I'm trying to I'm trying to make a note, like by writing, not by PDF on mobile. Okay, so if I think if I'm making notes by myself by writing on my notebook, and it's going to be like memorized for long time. Yeah, not bro. Not bro. I have learned everything, You can see, I have, mm, you can see these are the like plots, sum plot. These are the very least used plot, history plot, variance plot, but we have to study. These are like, uh, I make two times notes. Like, this is, you can see, I have make notes. My writing is not good. These are the CNN, convolutional neural network. This is image. Then we have applied the air layer. So this is like I have written everything, but I want to like become confidence in English. Like I want to explain these concept in English. I have written everything here. Okay, but I want to like makes a note from this in English language, but I have written everything here. So I will say these things, I will say all the things which I have written in my notebook. Like you can see, I have also written in Hindi. Like पहले पहले पुराने कंप्यूटर्स में कंप्यूटेशनल पावर नहीं थी, मतलब हैवी मॉडल्स पिक्चर 4K में पिक्चर कम, ये सब लिखा हुआ है. तो I want to convert all the concept, and I want to extract the definition from this notes, because in the interview the interviewer is going to be asked from you that, like, what is the definition of CNN and what is CNN, how it works. So I have written everything here in Hindi for my understanding. जब आप इमेज को 1D में बदलते हो तो इमेज की इनपुट वैल्यू ज़्यादा होती है, और के इमेज में पिक्सल होते हैं, और फिर इनपुट न्यूरॉन ज़्यादा आ जाएंगे और वेट भी बढ़ जाएंगे. प्रॉब्लम फॉर यूजिंग CNN फॉर इमेज. तो मतलब ये सब है. ये सब मैं बहुत मतलब पहले पढ़ा था. अबाउट हो गया इसको बहुत दिन, मतलब मैं बस रिवाइज कर रहा हूँ. ये देखो सब बने हुए नोट्स. रिवाइज करना यार, रिवाइज करना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है, कर ही नहीं पा रहा हूँ. देखो सब लिखा पड़ा है. बैक प्रोपगेशन, फॉरवर्ड प्रोपगेशन, लॉग लॉस, सब लिखा पड़ा है. रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा. मैथ स्टैटिक्स भी है यहाँ पर. जैसा हेल्थ रिसर्च क्लेम यार, इसको बनाना पड़ेगा नोट्स भाई, सही से डिफिनेशन वगैरह. तो अब ये दूसरा नोट्स है मेरा. यहाँ पर मैंने इंग्लिश में भी लिखा हुआ है. देखो नंपाई के फंक्शन का डिफिनेशन लिखा हुआ क्या करता है इंग्लिश में. कहाँ था मैं. हाँ, तो वायलिन प्लॉट हो गया. प्लॉट shows the distribution and shape of the data for the different categories. It's a variant plot. This is the syntax of the variant plot, like numerical for the categorical. Some plot shows the each data point clearly for the different categories without overlap. Some plot this. Then what we have. Okay, so we have a subplot. Subplot is like a famous concept which we have seen we have seen this concept in the matplotlib library. So we use this concept like subplot for creating a multiple for creating a multiple for creating a multiple for creating a multiple graph together. Like I use subplot when I want to show multiple plots in a single figure for comparison. I choose plot based on the data types and whether I want to see distribution, relationship, or comparison. I choose plots based on the data types and whether I want to see distribution, relationship, comparison. Strip plot, I use strip plot when the data is categorical versus num to see the data points without overlap. If we have sum plots, then we can use the sum plot when the data is like categorical versus numerical to see each data point clearly. Variant plot is like when we use a variant plot if we have a data like categorical versus numerical to see the data distribution and shape. Box plot is very important in ML journey. Like in every data set you are going to use a box plot because it shows the outlier. So for ML, so in ML journey you're always going to use a box plot because it shows the outlier. So outlier is very dangerous for your ML model, so we have to remove it. Okay, because it is creating something unwanted. It is like not normal. Okay, these are the different values from the normal values, so we have to remove it because it is not going to create a meaning. It is going to affect your model. It is going to be harm your model. So that's why we have to remove what we have to remove outliers. So box plot, I use a box plot when the data is categorical versus numerical to find outliers. And bar plot I use when we have a data like categorical versus numerical to compare the values. Count plot I use to see the how many times each category appears. Then what we have then we have a pair plot. When we use pair plots, basically we are going to use a pair plots when we have a multiple numerical column. So if you want to see the relationship between numerical columns, so we can use the pair plot when there are multiple numerical columns to see all relationship at once. So you can like go with the it is. And what is a giant plot? Like giant plot, I use giant plot when the data is numerical versus numerical to see the relationship and distribution together, and scatter plots when the num versus num to see the relationship using dots. So yeah, this is all about the things. And now I'm going to revise the things what. Yeah, so what is the deep learning? So, deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses a convolutional neural network that uses a multi-layered neural network that uses a multi-layered neural network to learn complex pattern from the large data text automatically. Okay, so yeah, a subset of machine learning that uses a multi-layered neural network to learn complex patterns from large data sets automatically. Deep learning is what deep learning is. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses a multi-layered neural network that uses a multi-layered neural network to learn complex pattern from the large data sets automatically. So, deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses a multi-layered neural network to learn complex pattern large data set from the large data from the large data sets to automatically from the large data sets to from large data sets automatically. Deep learning is a deep learning is a Deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses a multi-layered neural network to learn the complex pattern from the large data sets automatically. So yeah, so perceptron is we use deep learning is speech recognition, NLP, chatbot, even in AI, even in AI, of course, even in ChatGPT. So what is perceptron? Perceptron is the simplest type of artificial neuron introduced, and it is the first. It is the first and the simplest type of artificial neuron introduced with the Frank Rosenberg, and it basically mimics. It basically mimics how a biological neuron works, like taking input, processing them, and then giving an output. Which has only an input and output layer. It basically mimics how a biological neurons works, taking input, processing them, and then giving output. Which has only input and output layer. It basically mimics how a biological neurons works, taking input, processing them, and then giving an output. What is this word? disadvantage, it has a step activation function, works only on binary classification. If you want to predict something like salary prediction or like continuous data, if you want to predict, then you are not going to use perceptron because it has only ability to predict the binary things. So yeah, for that. So if you have an artificial neural network is a machine learning is a machine artificial neural network is a machine learning is a machine learning a model inspired by the human brain. Just like human brain has neurons connected to each other, and it has also artificial neurons connected in layers. These neurons works together to learn patterns from data and gives an output. ENN has three things which is like more important. One is the input layer, second one is hidden layer, third is output layer. Input layer is in input layer there is nothing is going to be happen like mathematics. Nothing is going to be happen with your input. It is basically just coming in the range of input layer, and then the main thing and the main like learning start in the learning start in the hidden layer. Okay, so when your input is entering in hidden layer, it means the your model is going to be start learning. So model is learning where learning layer is what learning layer is hidden layer. So model start learning in hidden layer. It understand, it detects it learns the complex pattern from the data set. Okay, these uh, these neurons these neurons work together to learn patterns from dataset and gives an output in an three layers or three main layers. Do not do calculation though, as I told you, like in the input layer there is nothing is going to be happen, like do not do calculation. It only passes data forward, receives the input data. It basically receives the input data only, and it is like as I told, there is nothing happen in the input layer. Okay, like input layer just receive the data, and it do not do any kind of mathematics or calculation. In the hidden layer, learning part starts here. Okay, so output layer gives the final output. In a neuron here applies weight and bias and activation function used in image recognition in a system recommendation system. Image used in image recognition, speech recommendation system. Weight and biases. The weight determines the importance of each input by scaling it. Weight and bias. So weight means determines the importance of input. Weight basically determines the importance of or strongly how strong your input is by scaling it, and bias is basically an additional parameter that helps the model to make better prediction. The bias ensures that even if all input are zero, the neuron can still produce a meaningful output. It basically adds flexibility and helps the network learn a better. Forward propagation, what the process where input data moves through the network, being multiplied by weight and adjusted by the bias and passed through activation function to produce an output. Backpropagation, the process of adjusting weight and biases by calculating the error gradients and using the chain rule of derivatives to minimize the overall error. Chain rule of derivatives, it's a mathematical rule has to, that helps us figure out how the change in one variable in one uh figure out how change in one part of the network affects another part, just like breaking down the complex things into simpler steps so we can update the network correctly. uh, Optimizer is like the guide that helps neural network learn During training, it looks at the error and then adjust sometimes increasing and sometimes decreasing them to reduce the overall error as low as possible over many cycles or epochs. The optimizer keeps refining the weights and biases, gradually bringing the network closer to that global minimum. So, in essence, the optimizer fixes, fine tunes the network step by step. We achieve the best performance. Activation function decides how much information a neuron should pass to the next layer. Vanishing gradient means a gradient becomes very low, small during backpropagation. So the network stop learning. So the network starts running. Happen in deep networks. CNN is a deep learning model mainly used for image related tasks that automatically learns features like edge, shapes, and pattern, face recognition, handwritten digit recognition, object detection, and then convolutional layer is the main layer of CNN data stacks the feature from any image is corner text saves filter. Corner filter is a matrix. A filter is a small matrix that moves over the image to extract features. A filter is a small matrix that moves over the image to extract features as direction, blur, sharpen, grayscale, single channel, black and white values from 0 to 3 channels, so red, green, blue color image seen on the canvas with both pooling layer reduces the size of feature maps while keeping important information. Where reduce dimension, reduce computation, prevent fitting max pooling, take the maximum value from region. Average pooling takes varied value from region minimum value. Why max pooling is mostly used? Max pooling gives the strongest feature and removes the max pooling. Like Uh, max pooling takes the maximum value from a region. Average means it really takes the average value from the region. Minimum takes the minimum value from the region. Why max pooling is mostly why max pooling is mostly used. Max pooling keeps the strongest feature and removes the noise. Padding adds extra pixels around the image, prevent shrinking, preserve as Padding adds extra pixels around the image prevents shrinking, prevent as information. Padding extra pixels around the image prevents shrinking, preserve as information. Strategy defines how many pixels the filter moves at a time. Flattening convert 2D, flattening convert 2D features maps into one linear activation function. Output the same value as input. Output the same value as input. Output layer of regression problem. Output layer of regression problem. Output layer of regression problem predicting house price. Notice cannot learn Pamper pattern.